Okay, we have the agenda as presented. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Motion by Ms. Roy, seconded by Ms. Surton. Any discussion? All in favor,
What do I
please.
have to say about the consent agenda now or later? I just want a discussion.
More helpful now to do that? Okay, so before we vote, we do have discussion. We have item number 5 is being pulled for a separate vote. Item 5 will
I
now,
don't have to have a separate vote, I just want to have a discussion.
well, if we're going to have a discussion, it needs to be pulled. If it's a quick comment, we don't
Okay,
need,
that's fine.
do it, okay?
Yeah, I just,
Okay, so that will become action item 2. And Ms. Roy had what I understand is a quick comment on 8, so we do not need to pull that. So, okay, so that, do I have a motion to, a motion to amend the agenda as,
Mr. Chair, we don't need to amend it. Items can be pulled from the consent agenda down to action items at any time. We've got a motion and a second. We can just vote,
we can
move
go
from
ahead.
the vote to
Okay.
adopt.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Okay, board members, superintendent announcements. Ms. Roy.
Thank you, Mr. Hyatt. Just one thing, I wanted to call attention to our 2018-19 annual equity update. We got this after we did the superintendent's evaluation, but I wanted to note that our strategic plan goal was to improve student participation of minority students in AP, IB, and Cambridge programs. And there was quite a dramatic increase this year, more than 10%, which was the goal, in African Americans in AP, IB, and Cambridge, from 13.3%, 259 students, to 18.1%, 425 students. For African American males, it was up from 4.1% to 6.7%, that is 80 students, up to 158. Hispanic students improved their enrollment from 8.9% to 9.2%, which was from 174 students to 216 students. Hispanic males from 3.9% to 4.2%, small increase from 77 to 98. And the English language learning students went from 0.6 to 1.2, in other words, doubling their enrollment. So I just wanted to say the district did an excellent job this year, and I think with the Cambridge, not the Cambridge, the ACES not ACES, AVIDS program, thank you. AVID and the one at East Side. Capstone, pardon me. The Capstone program, it's going to improve even more next year, so very proud of the district's success in that area. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further announcements?
Not from me.
Okay, well, it's now time for citizen input. I do not have any sheets filled out, so I'm assuming that there isn't anyone that's going to talk now, but it is time where we set aside 15 minutes, and it is requested that comments be restricted to 3 minutes. So even though I had no forms, I don't see anyone coming forward, so we'll move ahead. Superintendent Clark. Oh, excuse me?
Good evening.
Good
My
evening.
name is Wei Xue, and it's very nice to be here meeting with the board and the superintendent. It's the first time I come. And I have a question regarding the magnet program admission process. My daughter, who has been on waiting list for several months, and about 10 days ago, we received a phone call from her school and told us a student decided not to enroll in the fall semester, so she got the spot. And then 3 days later, we were informed by the school, her admission was disproved at school district, and the spot was given to another student. So, I mean, it's not very clear to me, what's the process, and my daughter, she meets all the criteria, and has been waiting patiently for several months. So I just want to figure out who should I talk to about
Okay.
this.
Ms. Wise, would that be, who would,
Ms. Neal.
Ms. Neal, would you please get the information and make sure that we get this settled? So if you, Kim Neal would be handling a situation like this.
Okay.
So if you make sure you exchange information, we'll immediately follow up on this.
Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. Is there any further citizen input at this time? If not, we move to the consent agenda. Madam Superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I recommend that the board approve the consent agenda as described in items 1 through 4 and 6 through 8.
Do I have a motion?
So move approval?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Roy, seconded by Dr. Paulson. And quick comment, Ms. Roy is recognized for a quick comment on item 8.
Thank you, Mr. Hyatt. Item 8 regards the school resource officer contract with GPD. And I noticed that when we meet with the county, they want to talk about school resource officers. And I would just like the county to be informed, the county commissioners, to be informed of the difference between our contract, what the contracted services between what GPD provides and what ASO provides, just so they have the lay of the land in terms of our relationship with ASO.
Sure, we'll be happy to do so. Since the time that the initial request was made for the joint meeting, we did come to an agreement with ASO. So as we work with the county staff to finalize, it may be that they don't necessarily want to discuss that at the upcoming meeting, because at the time, we had not come to an agreement, but we'll make sure that they get that information as well.
Well, I just think, given the letter that the chair sent the
Sure.
board last year,
Absolutely.
I didn't feel that they were fully informed about the situation. Thank
We
you.
can make sure they get that.
Okay,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Roy. Any further discussion of the consent agenda?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. That should be 6 through 9, not 8. That's my mistake. I
Okay.
said 6 through 8. It should be 6
Exactly.
through 9.
You're using the old paper.
Yes,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
thank you. Okay.
So what,
6 through 9, I didn't
Six-
realize the 9 had been added.
You've got
I
it-
had an old
You've got
copy.
a corrected one here. Okay, sorry. I'll give Superintendent and Dr. Paulson a minute to look and make sure it's okay to move ahead. Everything good? Oh,
I
okay.
had the thing for the nursing here.
Oh, okay. Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Okay. Moving to action items. Number 1, Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'll read the recommendation first, and then after it's on the floor, if you want to discuss some of these Since this is a slightly different process, that might be the best way to go. The superintendent recommends that the school board approve the proposed amendments to school board policies as set forth in the attached documents for advertising and schedule a public hearing on September 3, 2019 at 6:30 PM.
Okay, do I have a motion to that effect?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Certain, seconded by Ms. Roy. Any further, any discussion? Ms. Roy?
Thank you, Mr. Hyatt. I was looking at page 024 at the top. This refers to the notebook, these FSSAT, the Florida Safety Assessment to the state.
What
And
page
it's-
again, please? What page again? are you on?
24.
Thank you.
The top. It says, based on the findings of the school security risk assessment, the school safety specialist, that's Mr. Hamilton, must provide recommendations to the superintendent and the board, which identify strategies and activities that the district should implement in order to address the findings and improve school safety and security. The board will review the safety, security, risk assessment findings and relevant recommendations at a publicly noticed board meeting to provide the public an opportunity to hear board members discuss and take action. Now, this notebook says it is confidential. No one can know what's in the notebook. The next sentence says, the school safety and security plan is, however, confidential and not subject to review or release as a public record. My question is, how can we be at a publicly noticed meeting to discuss this with the public and not say anything that's, I mean, how can it be confidential in that too? I don't get it.
I am biting my tongue, pinching my lip, doing as much as I can not to say what I think about Tallahassee's
I get it.
laws. This is all straight out of statute. This is not something that we crafted as a way to
I know.
make sense. It is at least, I think, a little bit better that they're kind of acknowledging the confidentiality of the safety plan. The original didn't really have that. It suggested that there be a public hearing to discuss something confidential, which obviously you can't do. So I think my best interpretation of this is that these policy meetings, these updates where we're talking in general terms, that Casey and the team will make sure that the assessments are being done, that the reports are being filed, that there's an SRO at every school, that the radios are working, very broad things like that, that we can discuss publicly. Those will be what are discussed publicly. When it comes to the actual crisis plan, step by step, that will never be discussed publicly. And so I think that is the best way we can kind of navigate between trying to be as transparent and upfront, letting people know that we are taking steps and doing as much as we can to secure the campuses, while at the same time not disclosing, a manual for how to get onto a campus or cause harm. So,
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And Mr. Moore, I would assume that if there were more board involvement needed, that we could do that in executive session.
yes, that would be held in a private,
We always have more involvement.
non-public meeting. We would not record it. We would not, have a court stenographer or anything like that there. But we could do that in a private session. And I wouldn't be surprised, especially with all the new things and all the new deadlines coming, if we didn't have something in this fall for you, once everything is finished and submitted and all that.
Mr. Delaney.
I would just add in to echo Mr. Moore's comment, and this is an issue that boards across the state are struggling with. These are two opposite concepts of transparency and confidentiality. Obviously, we need to keep this information confidential so our plans are not out in the public. Nobody else knows how to square the circle either, so.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Any further discussion on action item 1? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0.
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to point out, the only language in here that wasn't really straight out of statute that we need to get in place with all these October 1 and October 15 deadlines approaching was the part about the school safety officers, where we crafted the language on guardians to talk about charter schools, since we are not doing guardians in our district schools. So it's the same statutory language, it's just limited to being available to charter schools instead of our schools. I just wanted to point that out. It's about the only part that was edited at all from essentially statutory language.
Okay, thank you. Okay, action item 2, board member travel request. Section 1001.39 Florida statutes from 2019 requires school board members to acquire prior approval from the board if they are going to request reimbursement in excess of $500 for travel outside the district. Now, I guess we need a motion for that, because this is state statute, but.
No, that's not what it's for.
This is new. It really isn't something that is up to the superintendent to recommend or not, so it's a board member recommendation. It's just, this is the new law that requires board member travel over $500 to be at a public meeting approved. And we're
Right, I'm aware of the law, but it's positioned as formally as part of the consent agenda, currently as part of the action, the action item.
We're supposed to approve this.
Right, but it's not, I'm just looking at what's written. This is, Ms. Ramos, is this different than we had before? This is exactly what we had. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, this is
We're
our
not trying to
first,
challenge that.
No, okay.
This is the first one we've had.
So this would be, and the only reason I read it is because it said chairman, so okay. So this is what I thought it was going to be. So this is specifically about Ms. Certain going to 2 days of FSBA training in Howard in the Hills, so that's what it's about. So I guess what we need to do is have a motion and a second to discuss this.
So moved.
Can I second my own?
Yes.
I second.
Okay, motion by Ms. Roy, second by Dr. Paulson. Discussion, Dr. Paulson.
Well, I was just wondering, because I've never been to one of these things like this. I just thought it was a lot of money. It's $866.90. Registration fee, $450. Hotel, $272. You know, and Alex, you know me, I go down there and come back the same night to save money. Haven't I done that almost every time? True? And so what I'm doing is, if it's fine, but I just, I have to talk through you, and if you want to talk to Ms.
Right.
Certain, if she knows, is she going to be the only one to go? One,
Well-
are they going to come back and tell us what it's all about, so we can learn from it, so, since we're spending this kind of money? What is it about? I mean,
Well-
I've never seen it.
Well, I'm going to try to speak to that.
Okay.
The reason it costs what it costs is FSBA, because FSBA, as part of their services, they're not a charity group. They don't, they have to meet whatever their expenses are, and part of that is providing training opportunities to board members who are members of FSBA. I have been to one of these at Howard in the Hills. It's very intense. It's a whole day workshop. I think it's valuable training. And, and because the legislature has decided that we have to, bring all these things up for individual votes, then we're doing that.
Can I ask you a question? Are we gonna get, will we ask Ms. Certain? Is she gonna be the only one, and can she come back and tell us what she learned, since we're spending this money?
Well, okay, we can ask her that, but I wanted to say, before I ask her that, is that every board member this is available to.
I just
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
like spending this kind of money for that. I've been doing this a long time. That's a lot of money for this. Why aren't we getting that we can go up there and meet with them? That's all.
Okay,
I've been in with a lot of organizations, FEA.
okay.
labor, everything.
I'm.
That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, again, I can let Ms. Certain respond if she'd like to.
can we
but-
ask her to
but-
come back
but-
and
but
train us?
But I'm saying, I find it a valuable service
Okay.
and valuable training personally. And the money to me is just what FSBA charges.
Well, then my next question is, could we ask her to come back
Okay.
and tell us what's up there?
Mr. Delaney.
I don't know if this speaks to the value of the service provided. In full disclosure, I have been asked to come present at this particular meeting on some employment issues, along with Leonard Dietzen and other attorneys from around the state. So I don't create the agenda, I'm just letting you know. But that is a non-compensated event by me. I'm just there trying to help the membership of FSBA based on the invitation. In terms, perhaps, if I can answer Dr. Paulson's question, obviously, any board member who goes and receives training could come back in a public meeting and share what they have been doing, maybe in board member comments at the beginning of the meeting, highlights of what they received. If we have PowerPoint slides, there probably will be for at least a portion of it. That could certainly be circulated amongst the other board
Yeah, I
members.
just
But it
think
would
for
just,
that kind of money, that's what I'd like to see happen.
it would just need to be done in the public.
So, well, I'm just going to say that I'm strongly in favor of having this available to all board members. Ms. Sir, did you have any comment at all?
I don't. It's part of a series, I will say this, though. These classes are part of a series of onboarding that they offer to all board members. As you would say, they have a new board member. And this policy and procedures and personnel issues, it's 2 different days, 2 full days of training, so it's not just one day where you can go down and come back. I'm cognizant of cost as well. And if you don't go out and get additional training to improve yourself and expand your knowledge base, you stay with a small mindset and a small thing. So I am in favor of of training to expand the knowledge base and improve and all, So I have no problem with coming back and sharing, but as Attorney Delaney said, it would have to be in a public meeting, because even when we're in these sessions, they don't sit members, they assign our seating. So if other members from the same district go, we're never sitting next to each other. So if you're discussing things, because they say they're trying to keep us out of violating the sunshine law. So, and usually FSBA, after all of these sessions, I think they load up. I've seen the slide deck loaded on the website, so it can be downloaded as well. The notebook probably isn't, but I think the slide deck, any of the slide deck that they've shared in the past have been uploaded, so.
May I say something else?
Certainly.
Well, I think I've been trained a lot on some of these things, but I just think, I always go up and I'll drive up to Tallahassee and sit down with the people.
We're
and
different
try-
people.
Excuse me, I'm speaking, aren't I? And I just think that, I just think it's expensive, that's all. And maybe I've had a job that I got trained for 20 years, so I was lucky. So, anyway, I just want to point out the cost. And we're always trying to find money for our people. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Certain? No, okay. Ms. Roy?
I'm sorry, my light's on.
Okay, any further discussion?
I will say, I think we've all gone to training, like for finance. I've been to finance several times, but luckily it's been in a place where it's not too far to come back, that's all. I've been to finance in Ocala, I believe,
Right, and as I have. And
We've been to these modules
No,
before.
but what I'm saying is, as Ms. Surton pointed out, these are two separate trainings. And to me, it would make no sense to come back in between. And also, the hotel is not the high cost. The high cost is the registration, which would be the same whether or not she came back.
That's true.
So, anyway, that's my 2 cents. Any further comments? Okay. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Okay, now we're back to citizen input, and I still don't have any forms turned in, and I don't see anyone coming toward the rostrum, so we will move ahead to board member superintendent requests. Do I have any?
I have one.
Okay, Ms. Surton.
Superintendent Clark, I can't recall the exact date, but I had asked for some info on impact fees at a prior meeting, and I know we're having that meeting, the joint meeting with the county that's coming up, and I seem to have gotten wind that that's going to be an item that they bring up, and I'd like to have something from staff before we get to that.
Mr. Rella has that pulled together, that he'll send to he can send to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any, oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah. first
Okay,
day of school.
happy first day of school, and for Monday. And, you know, on social media today, we saw, of course, we're seeing a lot of welcome back things, and I think food service had reposted something from 2 years ago, which I'd forgotten about, where we actually had 2 of our district employees, of our ESPs, plus a crossing guard, and they don't work for us, but they certainly work with us and for the children, were featured on the Today Show. And it's just a great little bio piece on these 3 incredibly wonderful employees and what they do every day for our children. So if you get a chance, and I think I'll maybe, Ms. Johnson, maybe we could put that out on the ACPS website as well. But so it takes a great team of all employees, from administration, ESPs, teachers. We're all in this together, and we're all in it for the children. And so I do thank you for mentioning that, Mr. Moore. Okay, we stand adjourned.